through scout team and all that. But again, that wasn't the course that we went.
I think he could sit for 6 years. He's not a starting quarterback in the NFL. You could see it very early. Herbert, Burrow were forced into activity with bad offensive lines. You knew immediately. Kyler Murray forced into activity. Rookie head coach who just got fired in college. Bad offensive line. You got it. He doesn't. I don't mean to make it personal. But if it was about sitting, why didn't he get better year 1 to year 2? He's small. He's undisciplined. He plays hero ball. He's got bad mechanics. He's not great at the podium. Maybe the nicest guy in the world. But Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, and Lamar Jackson sat, but they sat with like John Harbaugh and Andy Reid and a veteran coach and a stable organization and good ownership. The Jets are the Jets. They don't make anything easy. And I think there's a lesson to be learned with Zach Wilson. And I know that people in the NFL watch because I get text all the time, even on my birthday. Here's the lesson to be learned. I get all the time, people will send me stuff, fans. And I'm like, ooh, I never picked up on that. You can learn a lesson from anybody, even me. Be careful how much you ask of a young quarterback. He had to go from conservative Provo to New York City, the biggest, loudest media in America. He had to go from BYU schedule to Belichick twice a year and Sean McDermott. Rookie head coach. Play caller with not a ton of experience. A shaky offensive line. You were asking this kid, it was like the hurdles, one after another, after another, after another. Even if he was Mahomes, this could be choppy and turbulent. I mean, at least when Justin Herbert got to the Chargers, he didn't have the right coach and the O-line was bad, but he had like Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, and he had, some playmakers on defense. I mean, it was choppy, but there were things. He went to a big program. He went to a sleepy NFL team, the Chargers. That wasn't that big of an ask. He had a lot of years starting. He was a big, strong kid. The O-line was choppy, and the coach wasn't ideal. Joe Burrow, the offensive line was bad, but he had a couple of nice receivers. He had an offensive coach. They spent a lot of money on free agency. He didn't have to win by shootout. But, I mean, Zach Wilson, they just kept asking things. Provo to New York City. BYU scheduled to Belichick and Sean McDermott. And at the time, Brian Flores, I think. It was like 3 defensive coordinators. 3 of the best. Like 3 great defensive minds. Pass rushes. And then it's, a rookie head coach. I think Robert Saleh is probably going to make it, but you don't know. A defensive coach in New York. A play caller without a ton of play calling experience, bad O-line, and let's be honest about it. It's the Jets. I think this marks the 12th straight year they haven't made the playoffs. So people fell in love with his pro day. There's something else we can learn. I went back and looked. I remember when I heard about Zach Wilson. I watched him play Washington years ago, and he had a couple of decent throws. Talented, there's some arm talent, obviously. But when you watch a guy in college, there's got to be some, whoa, C.J. Stroud against Georgia. Whoa, he can run and throw? Bryce Young, whoa, that gets rid of that puppy fast. Will Levis, arm strength, size, whoa. Herbert, there's got to be, Josh Allen was wild and crazy, 6'6", 250, jumping over people, arm strength. The wow for Zach Wilson wasn't on YouTube. It was at his pro day in shorts. Can we scale back on the importance of pro day? It's the opposite of real football. There's no real thinking. You don't wear pads. There's no pass rush. So if you're a small guy, you don't really know what it's like looking over 6'7" left tackles and right tackles. But I think the big learning experience here is when you draft a college quarterback and you're asking him to overcome 5 or 6 things. Big Ben played at Miami of Ohio, but he got a great defense. He got great ownership. He got a great coach. He got good run support. He had a veteran receiving core. You weren't asking Big Ben anything other than come in here, don't crash the Mercedes, right? So it's a really good car. We need you to make about 4 or 5 big throws a game. If you look at Mahomes, he sat for a while. He had a receiver. He had Andy Reid. He had stability. They had to rebuild that defense, but it was like O-line was pretty good. The receiving core. You can't ask these guys to do 6 and 7 things out of college. Now, occasionally you'll get a Trevor Lawrence, but even he struggled last year. They asked him to overcome too much. Now this year they got him more help in free agency. They got him an NFL coach. Shocking. Right now, Justin Fields, I like him. You're asking him to overcome too much. Bears O-line stinks. Receiving corps stinks. They could use another tight end. Defensive coach, new offensive coordinator. You're asking Justin Fields to overcome too many hurdles. That's the lesson here. I don't mind if a guy plays immediately or sits. But this BYU experiment, Provo experiment, that schedule experiment, rookie coach, Jets, shaky O-line, bound to fail. J-Mac with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
I wonder if I'm the only one who detects a lot of disdain when you say Jets. You say it in a manner that's so negative. But, hey, I get it. We stink.
Am I being negative? I'm sorry.
A little bit. But we got some good news right out of the gate here, Colin. Damar Hamlin's recovery.
Amazing.
Really, amazing is the perfect word. The breathing tube has been removed, the Bills announced, and Hamlin is speaking to his family members and care team. He was also able to FaceTime his teammates and coaches, and he told them, love you boys. This is just great news on a Friday. Outstanding.
Think about how sad the news was Monday night and how uplifting it is today. We talk about this all the time. One of the great virtues in this entire process has been his youth. These guys, these pro athletes are in such great shape. They recover. If he is 25 years older, not in shape, and this kind of accident happens, but he's young, he's in great shape. You had immediate medical teams. The NFL got criticized for not canceling fast enough, but the NFL saved his life. First responders on the scene in minutes. The Buffalo Bills team, Cincinnati, amazing support. So this is, the NFL, it's easy to criticize, big and powerful, right? But in the end, their ability to immediately understand the urgency of the moment, get on the field, CPR is part of what saved his life. And it now looks like he's turned, according to the stories this morning, he's turned a corner.
It's awesome news, yeah. The Bills are going to wear a number 3 patch on their jersey this weekend against the Patriots. Boy, that Bills practice today is going to be an exciting one, huh?
I'm
coming
interested.
off FaceTiming Hamlin and getting excited. Hey, our guy's okay.
I know. I actually thought that. I thought, is Buffalo going to play incredibly emotional, inspired football against New England?
What's the scene at the stadium going to be like?
Oh, my Lord. It's going to be incredible.
Exciting. All right, next up, the Cowboys still have a chance to win the NFC East and climb up to the top seed in the NFC. They'll need a little bit of help to get there. Obviously, they would need the Giants' reserves to shock the Eagles. That ain't happening. That being said, Dak Prescott says he's only focusing on what he can control, which is winning against Sam Howell in Washington on Sunday.
We've got to win. The focus first and foremost is win, play well, yes, and build momentum. And if we win the division title, that's not necessarily up to us at this point. We've just got to go in and take care of our business.
Saw a probability chart that said the Dallas is 91% locked in to visit Tampa wild card weekend.
So would you rest starters?
I think you want to keep the continuity going, probably a couple series, maybe a quarter.
Yeah, that's how I feel you attack this weekend, is you go through everything you would normal week, but I don't want Tony Pollard going into a playoff game. So I'm going to play Tony.
He sat last week, by the way, against the Titans.
Yeah, but I want him in practice this week.
Yeah.
I want him to have a couple of carries, but I'm not giving him the ball 15 times.
Offensive line has had some injuries. I would definitely bolster the backup so they're getting in there early. And Micah Parsons, nothing can happen to that guy. You need him at full strength next week. By the way, I'm just curious. Cowboys Tampa, you want to guess the line on that? What do you think it would be? In Tampa, by the way.
Dallas favored by 3.
I think that's about right.
Yeah. Is that it?
I haven't seen one yet because it's not locked in, but that game that's going to be probably we'll see. If the Chargers have to play the Bengals, that might be the best wild card game.
Chargers-Bengals is fantastic.
Aaron Rodgers, Niners. Gosh, next weekend.
Well, I can't wait.
Yes. All right, final story. Pro Football Hall of Fame announced 15 finalists for the class of 2023, highlighted by 3 players with their first year of eligibility. Dwight Freeney.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Yep. Darrelle Revis.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Okay. And Joe Thomas.
Oh, he's absolutely.
2 of the 3 have been on this show.
Yeah, no, those are Hall of Fame. Let me look at the list right now.
Jared
I don't
Allen.
want to make any enemies. Freeney is obviously. Thomas is obviously. Darrelle Revis is obviously. Boy, Andre Johnson.
Listen, Devin
Andre
Hester has to get in. I mean, he's one of the. He has like a ton of return